What up, reader fam? Today I'm going to be reacting to your unpopular bookish opinions. I got this video idea from Monica over at She Might Be Monica, which I will leave a link down below to her channel. Go and show her some love. She's one of my favorite creators online, and I definitely recommend checking out her channel. I went on my Instagram, which is at jessethereader if you want to follow me, asked you guys to send in your unpopular book opinions, and today I'm going to be reacting to them. And I'm a little bit nervous about this. I've looked at a few already and I feel a little attacked. But the good thing about unpopular opinions is that they're just opinions. They're not facts. So I'm not going to take any of these to heart. Without further ado, let's get started. Paperbacks are better than hardcovers. Ooh. Is it weird that I don't really personally have a preference? Like, a book is a book no matter the format it comes in. Audiobook, ebook, hardback, paperback. What else is there? Rockbacks. I'm making that up. Why did I just say that? But you get what I'm saying. I do love me a good paperback though, especially the ones that got a little bit of an extra flop in them. I could do this all day. I don't ship Mare and Cal from Red Queen. You know, I really like them together and I do ship them, but I'm not like, if they don't end up together in the end, I'll cry blood. I don't really have intense feelings about them being together. If they don't end up together, then that's fine. The Fault in Our Stars is overrated. Even though I love The Fault in Our Stars, I can totally understand why people might think it's overrated. Even I know it's not the greatest book in the world, and I love that book. And it was the first book I ever reviewed on my channel.
Today I'm going to be reviewing The Fault in Our Stars by John Green.
So it's got a special little place in my reader heart. I hate Harry Potter as a character. Ooh, but why? Why do you hate Harry Potter? I guess I can understand because he can be a really frustrating character at times. Sometimes while reading the books, I just wanted to jump in the series and cast a spell on him to snap him out of his stupidity. But at the same time, I was also very aware of the fact that he's super young while I was reading the books, and he just can't make all the right decisions. If that were the case, the series would have been really boring. I strongly dislike Hermione. Another Harry Potter dislike. My heart's hurting a little bit, but it's okay. You're allowed to have your own opinion. I love Hermione. She's the best, and sure, she can be pretentious at times, and she can talk down to others, and that can be pretty aggravating. But those boys would not have survived without her, and that's the tea. Seriously though, can you imagine that series without Hermione? Harry and Ron would have been even more of a mess than they already are. People should stop telling authors all the time what to do with their books. I agree with this. I think that readers sometimes feel a sense of ownership over a story after having read it. And yes, when an author puts out a book, that book now belongs to the readers, but that does not mean that the readers have ownership over the story. They don't get to tell the author what should happen or what they should do with certain characters and whatnot. That's up to the authors. Kenji is the highlight of the Shatter series. Is this an unpopular opinion? Either way, I agree. I honestly don't think I would have enjoyed the Shatter series had Kenji not been there. He brings the humor and the loyal friendship aspect that the books needed. Kenji for president! Throne of Glass is boring. You guys sent in so many Throne of Glass ones. I hate Throne of Glass. It's terrible. Honestly, I hate it. I'm not a fan of Throne of Glass. Stopped after book 1. I hated Throne of Glass. And I'm like, yeah, this isn't an unpopular opinion anymore. It's popular to not like the Throne of Glass series. It's a popular opinion to like it, and it's a popular opinion to not like it. I totally get why so many people don't like this series. Like, if it's not for you, that's fine. I do wish that some people would stop being so snarky and shady about other people enjoying the Throne of Glass series. Like, if they enjoy it, let them enjoy it. You don't gotta rain on other people's parades. Let the people like what they like. But at the same time, there are also some Throne of Glass fans who get a little bit too pressed at the people who don't like the series. All I gotta say is you gotta let people like what they like and let them not like what they don't like. I'm personally still into the series. I recognize that it has its flaws, but I still quite enjoy it. And I'm terrified to see what happens in Kingdom of Ash. Will it be a bloodbath or will it be a fairy tale ending? I highly doubt it'll be a fairy tale ending. I have absolutely no desire to read a Cassandra Clare book, and I have no desire to convince you to read a Cassandra Clare book. Bye! Just kidding! Well, I don't have the desire to convince you to read the Mortal Instruments series because that is just my least favorite series from Cassandra Clare. But, and there is a but, the Infernal Devices trilogy and the Dark Artifices trilogy is where it's at. That's where the good stuff is. Even though it is really nice having read the Mortal Instruments series when you go into TID and the Dark Artifices, because then you can make all these different connections, but I'm really not going to try to convince you to read TMI. Audiobooks don't count as reading. This is one that I highly disagree with, and there are two big reasons for this. One, it's kind of ableist to say this because there are people in the world who are blind or who can't physically hold a book. So saying that audiobooks don't count as reading can be really hurtful for people who have to rely on audiobooks for reading. So maybe just keep that in mind. But the other reason that I have is that I also don't really think that there's a big difference between reading with your eyes and with your ears. The information is just going in different places. You might be taking in the information through different places, but you're still processing that information in the same way. So I disagree disagree with you here, but I'm also okay with opinions like this next one. Audiobooks are the worst. The narrator's voice sounds robotic and unimaginative. Because if you don't like audiobooks, that's fine. They're just not for you. I've totally had to pass on audiobooks in the past because the narrators gave me a headache, so I'm completely understanding of this opinion. Also, with the ones that sound robotic, I usually just pump up the speed a little bit and it makes them sound more natural, like there's more of a flow with how they're talking. So maybe try that out. I didn't enjoy Red Queen. I feel like a lot of people didn't enjoy Red Queen, and I totally get why. It's definitely not the most original story and it relies on a lot of tropes, but your boy still enjoyed it quite a bit. I also went into it knowing that it was probably going to be pretty cliche though. I mean, the description alone of the first book is pretty telling of that. Dog-earing pages is not the end of the world. Preach, friend, preach! You dog-ear those books of yours all you want. Unless it's not your book, then no bendy of the pages, please. But if it's your book, then you bend it till you can't bend no more. Mockingjay was the best out of the Hunger Games trilogy. I agree with you. I loved Mockingjay so much, especially when it comes to the books. Like, out of the whole trilogy, Mockingjay was the one that did it for me. I think my favorite movie of the trilogy is actually Catching Fire, but book-wise, Mockingjay is my favorite. Ready Player One is an overrated book. That's alright. That's okay. We can still be friends even though that's one of my favorite books. No, but really, it's fine. This is another one of those books where I feel like it's just not for everybody, and that's okay. For me personally, I just loved how chopped full of pop culture it was, and I also just loved that virtual reality world setting. But I will say that I didn't like the movie adaptation. Everybody kept asking my opinion about it, and I just kept being all zip, but now you know, I wasn't a huge fan of it. It's not that cool to have read the book before seeing the movie. I agree. I mean, I personally prefer to go into a book to movie adaptation having read the book beforehand, but I also don't think it's the end of the world if you go to see a book to movie adaptation without having read the book beforehand. Unless, because there is an unless here. Unless I've read the book and I've gone and seen the movie adaptation for it and the movie adaptation is trash, then I will be like, read the book first. Because I don't want people going and seeing the movie and being like, that's trash, and then thinking the book's trash when the book is perfectly fine and Hollywood ruined it. You know what I mean? People don't actually talk about mental illness books or their impact enough unless it's a popular one. Ooh, drag us through the mud, my friend. I will say that for me personally, I don't want to talk about a book that focuses on mental illness without knowing that it has good rep for mental illness. One of my biggest fears when it comes to my channel is that I'll get on here one day, talk about a book that has harmful representation and not even realize it. I care a lot about you guys and I would never want to recommend a book that might be harmful to you in some way. And this is something that I know has happened in the past and I just don't want that to continue to happen. But I do agree with you. I do think we should all be working harder and doing better when it comes to sharing books like that. When I don't like a book, I finish it anyway. I totally get it. It can be so hard to DNF books, especially when you've bought it with your hard-earned money and you don't want that money to go to waste. Or you're like holding on to hope that the book will end up getting better. But also, even when I'm reading a book sometimes and I'm really not liking it, I stick with it because sometimes I just need to know how it ends, even if I'm having a miserable time reading it. Adam is better than Warner. I've never heard anyone say that. I'm a little shook right now. I do think his character is an interesting one to read about because it's very clear. I was literally just about to spoil some things. Never mind. I can't say what I was trying to say. Zip, 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 zipping it up. But I find the progression of his character really interesting, and I'll leave it at that. The Infernal Devices is more enjoyable than the Mortal Instruments series. I agree, sis, but I also think that this is a really good thing. It shows that Cassandra Clare has grown as a writer. Like, each book she puts out, I feel like you can really tell how she's evolved as a writer. I'm actually really curious to know how unpopular of an opinion this is, though. I hardly ever see people say that they prefer the OG series over any of her newer series. So I'm quite curious to know how you all feel. If you prefer the OG series, let me know down below in the comments. Or if you prefer TID or TDA over the OG series, let me know down below in the comments. If you don't care about Cassandra Clare's books at all, that's fine. Just let me know down below in the comments if you like books. I think writing in books is okay as long as it's your book. I'm on board with this. In fact, I've done it several times now. Scandalous! It's really not that big of a deal to me as long as it's your book and you have ownership over that book. And I honestly really like the idea of somebody coming in contact with one of my books when I'm dead and gone, and then being able to see all my thoughts and opinions scribbled on the pages. I hate and can't stand reading real books. I prefer ebooks or Wattpad books. First off, I just gotta say, ebooks are real books. books. I'm sure you meant physical books by saying real books, but I just wanted to point that out. But that's actually really interesting because I hardly ever hear people say that they prefer ebooks over physical books. So good on you for being unique. And also that's super cool that you enjoy Wattpad. I feel like I always see people hyping up Wattpad, but I haven't given it a chance yet. So if you guys have any recs for me, hit me up in the comments. Those are all the unpopular opinions that I'm going to be reacting to today. Thanks to everybody who sent in unpopular opinions on my Instagram. I appreciate you. I'm going to share one of my unpopular bookish opinions and you guys can react to it down below in the comments. You can agree with it or you can disagree with it. I just want to hear your thoughts down below in the comments. I personally really love trade paperbacks. For some reason, I just really like the sizing of trade paperbacks, which is a very unpopular opinion. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Do you like trade paperbacks or are you like, get that away from me right now? I want to hear all your thoughts down below. If you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. I post videos frequently on this channel, so if you want to see more bookish content from me, be sure to go and hit subscribe or go and click the little bell icon and you'll be notified every time I post new videos. As always, thanks for watching guys, and I will see you soon with a new video. Bye, chew.